Hi guys, welcome to my channel, guys. So there is an argument that is going on right now all over the world about Nigerian situation, and that is to say that Nigerians and Americans anticipated that Nigeria will split in the year 2030, and a lot of persons have been arguing this. But I want you guys to pay attention to all that happened in this video, and I'll be right back. And please don't forget to drop your opinion about this on the comment section. Well, let's go to the video.
Nigeria will split based on tribal sentiment or religious sentiment. Now we have a breaking news according to the United States of America Research Institute on Democracy in Africa. They have said that Nigeria, if by 2027 the northern oligarchs grab power, Nigeria will not exceed beyond the period of 2030. I agree. I totally agree. They have come out to say that the North and South dichotomy is a factor that can never be pushed under the carpet. This is the United States of America saying it clearly. You see, this can be an hypocrisy. Could this be that they are working for Tinubu, try using that statement to threaten the North? But I say no. The United States of America are only stating the obvious. We know that a man who so many people have called Fulanis, so many people have called Cameroonians, has been hell-bent on grabbing power since 1992. And because of his hunger, greed for power, now he and Peter Obi have had a trailer pass through them. The two of them, their relationship has been crushed. It has been broken because of the greed for power. Now, an article has now gone down into Rivers to pick a man named Rotimi Amechi. Rotimi Amechi, whom we have seen, he has been saying, trying to pander to the North, saying that when I wanted to take people for scholarship, I took 1,000 Hausa Fulani to China to go and study. I took more Northerners than Southerners. A Sabotua, Sabo, Naim, Atiku won't go take. All right? Now, Atiku himself has ditched Epitobi. With him knowing fully well that this period is still the turn of the South, but Atiku, a man who does not have regard for zoning, Atiku will always portray himself as a pan-Nigerianist. He always say that, well, I'm a Nigerian and I don't see Igbo, I don't see Hausa, that in fact, this is why he has decided to marry 3 wives from the 3 major ethnic groups, which is Hausa, Igbo, and Yoruba. The last time when he was campaigning against someone like Tinubu, we saw it was his wife, Titi, that he was moving around with. If the next incumbent becomes an Igbo man, you see an article bring out his Igbo wife and use that to try and deceive the Nigerian people. But according to the Americans, they have said that if the North greed for power is not checked, they don't put it into, a sizable option. Like you alone can always say that you want to push the South out of power. You want to reclaim power. We did the same thing in 2011 when Buhari, because he lost election to Jonathan, they started killing people, innocent Southerners, Southern coppers. So many Yoruba coppers, Igbo coppers were pied. Nothing less than 1,700 people were pied because Buhari lost election in 2011. And it was because he was unpopular in the South. Now, in 2014, they did the same thing. In fact, that was when Buhari said that the bloods of the baboon will touch the soil, will cover the soil, and everywhere will be red. And eventually, Jonathan, because was, should I say, a coward? Is that a right word? Or should I say Jonathan was a democratic leader? Would that be the best word to describe Jonathan? Whichever one, Jonathan considered that defeat. As at 12 p.m., he has to call Buhari, Oga Mahan, no day, I leave Nigeria for you. And ever since then, we can say Nigeria has been dwindling. We can say that the northern oligarchs, the Fulani oligarchs, their influence over Nigeria has become so powerful, that has become so pronounced, wherein the killings in the middle belt, the southern Kaduna axis. We even had a governor come out to tell us that Nigeria is a citadel for the Fulanis across all Africa under the regime of Buhari, when a Bala Mohammed had an interview on channels. I'm going to play that for you at the end of this program. But you see, The dichotomy, now Tinubu haven't seen this, I am sure this will send a shivering, a heart-wrecking threat to the northern oligarchs. But I don't know if Tinubu will have the courage. But I think Tinubu is a man who is not ready to concede defeat easily. Mm. And we know that for Tinubu to be kicked out, the North must aggressively get involved. But the mistake they are making, which is a mistake of their due to their own greed, is to have an Atiku in the fray. And Atiku does not want to step down for anybody. Atiku, as you can see on my screen, who you can see there praying at the graveyard of Usman Danfodio, has an agenda. What do you think that agenda is? This is a man who just wants to snatch the power. This was the same reason why a Wike and a Peter Obi had to fight Atiku, and today PDP is no more. Ordinarily, as at 2023, before that 2023 election, and Atiku came out and said that if PDP wants to zone, let them zone it. That after all, the Northeast have never been president. And Atiku was told, but a Northerner just finished. He said, well, that is in APC now. And PDP was in power, it was a Southerner. Atiku tries to use logic, but PDP must understand the atmosphere of the Nigerian contraption. The Nigerian contraption as it is in two categories. We have the North, we have the South. And the North, which as of today consists of the Middle Belt, the Middle Belt are saying they are not North. And yet the North are still, subjecting the Middle Belt to their rulership, suppressing the Middle Belt. So with this pronouncement of the Americans, that if the North ever dares grab power, I can tell you categorically that Nigeria will split. It is clear, like day and night. As in, it is just as clear as day and night. If Atiku eventually grabs power, which for me, I am seeing how impossible it is, but never say never. They not have the population. Yes. And don't be surprised that the South will have some people that would still betray the Southern agenda presidency and support Atiku. But I know Tinubu, that one, where we say, if in hand don't grab power like this, if you never buy or cut that hand, you don't go leave power. This is a man who has the philosophy or he has the mentality that when you grab power, you have to run with it. You have to run away with it. That means anybody that wants to catch Tinubu when he grabs the power, you yourself have to become a bigger and a very wicked competitor or a contender. Okay? In this instance, Atiku is presenting himself as the option. Well, so be it. But I know that if the North gets that power, Nigeria will cut into two. We have seen how so many state governors in the South, whom naturally will not agree with the ideology of Tinubu. We have seen how Wike has been saying that he would personally take up the campaign of Tinubu in 2027 in the whole of South into Niger Delta. We have seen how the former governor of Delta State, who was the vice president of Atiku, betrayed Atiku, came out and said that his greatest regret was to run as vice to Atiku. That he felt today like a betrayer. Now, you might think I am defending all these people. No. I am basically I'm eating on the nail of the issues that Nigeria is divided between North and South. When they tell you the North is monolithic, now lie. I'm telling you, if an Atiku wants to run, the Middle Belt will vote for Tinubu. I'm telling you, that's a fact. They will vote for Tinubu. I was on the street of Lagos yesterday asking some people that Atiku wants to come out, and Atiku has been sending requests, people, entourage to Obi that Obi should kindly agreed to deputize him, that he is sure that he'll be able to defeat Tinubu. And when Obi saw this, so many claims, he felt it's impossible. No. But we know Obi likes to be diplomatic. Obi will not say that it is the turn of the South. Obi just said he's not going to work in coalition. That's it. And we now see that Obi has actually pulled out of that coalition. Obi is, sourcing for another candidate that is viable. He wants to run by himself, which I agree. That is how it should be. If an Atiku truly calls himself a pan-Nigerian, Atiku should have just endorsed Obi by now. We are supposed to be celebrating the endorsement of Atiku on Obi by now. It's as simple as that. Not Atiku trying to stick his neck in the turn of the South. You, this greedy man, you still want to go in there? Abba. 1992, you contended. In 2003, you did. 2007, you did. 2011, you did. 2015, you did. 2019, you did. 2023, is it your bet right? Is it your bet right? Like I said, an Atiku has a chance. But one thing that would actually take over the campaign of 2027 is going to be solely based on the North and South divide. And I can see that so many of my Igbo brothers will even go out there and support the Southern agenda. Yes, because if Atiku comes in, I've already said it over and over again, I'm beginning to sound like a broken record. If Atiku comes in, the Fulanization of Nigeria will be reactivated 2.0. Because they will now see and understand that the argument on power to the North and South, it was just a basic gentleman agreement between the North and South. And when they not break such gentleman agreement, the North will forever continue to run with that. They will forever continue to run with it that when Atiku won, if Atiku do 4 years, nobody can come and tell us that we should step down. No. Let us go into the ring and let us fight it out based on popularity. Let us go into popularity contest. Whoever wins, take the day. So we will now begin to descend into what we call civil war. This time we might now have a war that is even more grievous, like more calamitous than the Biafran War that existed between the 1966 to 1970. Because it is the total disregard for the South within the period of 1966 to 1967 that made Ojukwu to declare that Biafran state. Because previously, when Akitola and Ola were having their issues, Operation Wet here in the West, and all that, Tafawa Balewa declared state of emergency. The state of emergency, got Awolowo arrested, and did all those their shenanigans. Yes. The same thing was about to apply in the Southeast, old Eastern region. Then the Ojukwu, who couldn't take it, and who was way ahead of his time. I'm telling you, the problem Ojukwu had was he was way ahead of his time. The Nigerian people were slow. Yes, it was that time that Ojukwu declared Biafran state. Immediately, the response the West was supposed to make was declaring the Oduduwa Republic. Because all those time, the Oduduwa Investments Company, all these things were viable. They were pumping in money for the Western region, remitting some factions to the North. That should have happened. But I think I am seeing a light at the end of the tunnel. Because my prayer is for Atiku to be able to snatch the power. When it does, you would understand how the Southeast and the Southwest will galvanize this time. Period. Imagine as at 1966 that it was not Azikwe, an Igbo man that was the president, that it was a Yoruba man. And that could happen And then maybe Awolowo in the line of the battle got, you know, assassinated. I am telling you, that moment that Biafra was declared, the Oduduwa Republic also would have been declared. And these are what the Northern Fulani oligarchs will never pray for. They are always the ones sowing the seed of discord between the Southwest and the Southeast. I'm telling you. They do it, there's what we call the unseen hand. They have their hand into the relationship between the Southeast and Southwest. If the Southeast and Southwest have the highest numbers of intermarital transactions, because they intermarry, those are the only two tribes in Nigeria that marry themselves like at the highest of rate. There's literally no difference between the Hausa and Fulanis today, right? Well, we know that the Fulanis have colonized the Hausas, so we are not going to say that they are the one, but two people that we know that they have two distinct traditions, and even at that, they get married to themselves most often time than not. You see that any weekend, you just go to any event center, before you count 10, I am telling you, you would have counted 5 Yoruba and Igbo marrying each other. But they have been using the politics. How do they use the politics? The North will just, anytime that they see that, these people are trying to rise, their voice is becoming loud, they will shift posts. That's what they do. When the North were supposed to have supported the South, East, and South in 2015, but because they wanted to grab power, they moved to the Yoruba side. Boom. That brought that enmity, because the Jonathan era favored the Igbos. And indeed, Jonathan regime actually favored everybody. I'm not going to lie, because that man was an exceptional leader. You know, a man who led with so much clarity and purpose, period. But you see those Northern oligarchs, those sneaky snakes. You can see now that Atiku is now trying to toast Obi. That Obi, you have to betray the Southern presidency cause. Come and deputize me. I will not do more than 4 years. I guarantee you. He wants to take Obi to the grave of Uthman Danfodio there to go and swear for him there. But I'm happy that Obi did not fall for that gibberish. Obi, now God save you, say you no go fall for that capping. We for finish you for the South. I'm telling you. I am telling you that the campaign that would have been run against Obi would have been Obi in Asabo. So because Obi just wanted to be in this corridor of power, when he knew that it's still the turn of the South, Obi went to go and deputize. Was it not better for him to run alone? Why would he go and be a sub under another Fulani man when a Fulani man just ruled less than 4 years ago? But Obi saw the atmosphere, and I must congratulate his advisors who have told him, don't dare. Don't dare. The only person that has the capacity to unseat Tinubu is actually Obi. But at this stage, I'm in a dilemma whereby, should I continue to support Tinubu so that Nigeria can continue to exist? Or should I even become a fan of Atiku so that Atiku can grab the power, Atiku can infuriate the people of the Southwest, so that because I know the Southeast are already ready. Those ones, they don't make up their mind. No, nobody can tell me. If tomorrow, bam, Southwest begin to agitate for secession, Southeast will not waste any time. They will join that line of action instantly. And there's only one thing that can catalyze that anger in the Yoruba people in this country, is for another Fulani man to take power by unseating Tinubu. Because I know Tinubu will do everything possible to ensure that whoever grabs power from him does not live to enjoy it. That's one I'm sure of. That man during his campaign that was campaigning, they were doing what we call ayajo, like a curse swear on his opponent. That man who has a mentality of sit tight, a man who wants to be the greatest godfather in Nigeria. So the United States, Research Institute for Democracy, what they said